tell you that the majority of mobile homes that I have looked at, the vast majority have been homes that are not economically feasible to repair and are not good structural candidates. When the roof, for example, when the roof has been leaking for years and that water's been running down inside the walls, the wall framing is gone, you know, it's not just the roof.
Yes, everything's on the roof. I understand.
And the
But-
majority
but my
of them
point-
are in that category.
I understand, but my point being is if the new one starts leaking, what's gonna happen with it? It's gonna run down the walls, and you're back where you started, what I'm trying to say. So we need to be a little more selective of what we're doing. Go ahead, Ms. Locke.
How do they come, you got a contact? The person want to put an application,
They can contact me, again, because we only have that one slot available, I've been telling people when they call me, we have no money left for replacements. And most of the people who call me say, I have this, and this, because I ask them, what do you think needs to be done? And they tell me, well, my roof is leaking, my floors are soft, all this list, I have mold, and I can just tell if what they're telling me is correct, then it's not gonna be a feasible rehab. And if it's like a, 1980 mobile home and it has this, and this. So I tell them recently, that I don't have any money for replacements. I have a slot left for rehab. But what I'll do is I will continue to add to the list of names that we have. And so if we get another grant, we can set policies and go down the list and see who will fit. I can tell you a majority of the mobile homes that we'll have to turn them down. If there's a dollar limit, and we still have to address all the issues.
So you must have been getting some of the same phone calls I've been getting. Everybody wants a new trailer. And we're getting them too. At least I am, and I'm pretty sure everybody else is too. The county's got a new program, they just give you a new trailer. It can't work like that.
Well, I
That's
usually
not the
call-
role of government.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
usually
it's
call-
really not the role of government to provide housing to each individual in the county. That's not what the goal was, and it's not what we're trying to achieve. Or I say it's not, I can't speak for the board, but,
You speak to me though when you say that.
I mean, I kind of feel like everybody's
word,
worried.
the word out now, so everybody want a new trailer, but if a person needs rehab on a fixer up on the trailer, how do you contact them?
Well, they can contact me, and again, there's only one slot left, and I had a few applicants I've been looking at recently and doing inspections on, and I have a couple of options out there that have already applied, but you can send them to me if you like. And, but I do need to get a decision made quickly because we still have to do the environmental review, the clearance, and then get bids, close out in November.
I guess my question is, if you cut off from everything, from taking application, here, are you,
If somebody has just a small amount of work that needs to be done, I can go ahead and consider those. But let's say within the next couple of weeks, because I need to get moving on selecting the next one so that we have time to get the environmental clearance, bidding, and construction.
yeah, well, I hear people, plenty of people asking, that's why when I go in the store, they ask, or down the road, they ask. And they won't let me in my house, because I can't get it in the city limits.
Right?
It's
Yes.
Ms. Debbie, just for me to clarify, because I come in kind of in the middle of all this, are we saying, and I'm just making sure I'm understanding, that if and when we ever try to apply for a CDBG grant again,
if it's housing.
but there can actually be limits or criteria placed on it in application of it, or are we unable to do so because it's CDBG dollars and not our dollars?
You can have limits. We do have limits. The problem is that nearly every applicant had a home that really wasn't suitable for rehab. And so, we are taking them, looking at them and saying, I mean, if we had had a whole bunch of good rehab candidates that came in initially, we could have done a lot of rehabs. We didn't. So after a while, I mean, I'm sitting there saying, okay, we got to do something. So here are the ones that, you know, they're elderly, they're in this income category, and, you know, here you go. And so we need to replace them. Unfortunately, of those 5 that we did replacements, 3 of the 5 were within 1,500 feet of the shoreline. The state's exposure D criteria kicked in, which means that any mobile home that you put in has to meet more stringent standards. And we had a hard time getting anybody to produce those. You don't get a single wide. We barely got double wide mobile homes. They were saying, well, why don't you do a modular? Well, those were going to start at 140 something. So like, no. So that's what happened in the brief history of this. So again, had we had, quite a few applications for rehab, truly rehab instead of replacement, that's what we would have gone. But it's just one after another after another. And now eventually, floodgate opened and had all these calls, but initially that was not the case. And so month after month went by, and I'm like, we've got, even with referrals from SHIP and mitigation, the majority of them were either houses, and you said, don't do houses, do mobile homes, because of the fact that this is the only program that you had available for mobile homeowners. So, these were the ones that were left.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Clarification.
I think it wasn't that we told you actually to do mobile homes, we asked you to include mobile homes in it. I think that's.
That, we amended the policy because the board specifically said do mobile homes, because the SHIP program could do houses
Strip those houses.
and excludes mobile homes, and so you said, well, do, and if you can, exclude, and in fact, I did take a couple of houses at the beginning, because the fact that the county is going to have to do what's called leverage. Now, since then, it appears that we're not going to have to contribute other funds, because what happened was the state funded, they got some rollover money, things like that, and they funded applications with really low scores in that cycle. So I'm confirming now that whether the county can just blow off that requirement of putting other grant matching funds. I had one house lined up to do that because the only programs you had that would provide match are for houses, the SHIP program, the wind mitigation, that kind of thing. So I had a house lined up for that, but if we can eliminate that requirement, which it appears we can now, we can go back to doing just mobile homes, and that's what that last slot is for. So if we can do that, I'll recommend a mobile home. If we can't do it, there's a house that I have that she applied. She's elderly, low income. She applied a long time ago, and the work is feasible, definitely feasible.
In hindsight, maybe we made a mistake. Maybe we made a mistake in requiring you to do this mobile home. Because it's been leaking for 100 years. There ain't gonna be no rehab. So you turn around and spend $120,000, $130,000 by these people in the trailer and just give it to them. And that's not the American way.
Now, I can't tell you.
So I'm just saying that maybe the board here, but in the meantime, we do need to move forward and we're about through with this program, we got to finish this cycle up. And I think when you went out to solicit people that needed help and you started running into all this, then you run into a time crunch of trying to get the grant closed out. So I understand all of what you've been through and trying to administer this. And I'm not saying you did a bad job, you've done a good job. You've done what the board asked you to do, we're trying to do these trailers, but maybe we made a mistake. Because the word is out now that the county buys everybody a new mobile home, and that ain't gonna work. So if we go for another round, we will have to clarify, and we will have to make different decisions. And we learn from our mistakes, just like you do and everybody else in the room here. We make mistakes. We had good intentions. We're trying to reach out and help a multitude of people with a $750,000, which didn't happen. And I understand that. So, let's try to move forward and we'll get this grant cycle closed down, and we'll figure out what is the best thing that we can do to try to help the people. Should we be awarded another grant and apply for another grant? That's totally up to the board. You have something else to start?
Yeah, I would like for you to check and see, like in the replacement of that trailer. The people own their own land.
We don't have any money left for that.
I know,
Oh, okay.
but I'm talking about in the future, if we get money,
Yes, sir.
I would like for you to check and see if they own their own land and it's replaceable, to replace it with a house.
Yes, sir, we can. I mean, now,
Think,
again, you're into
yeah,
the dollar issue, but yes, you can.
Cause it'll be cheaper, so if you replace it with a house and you're billing so many, you get a contract, it's gonna be a good deal on the price.
I can tell you that the two replacements that we did on Ridge Road, those were in the $80,000 range. And so that's a heck of a lot less than we paid for those three others. The other two others, the exposure Ds, the two that were not in the floodplain were about 108.
You can get I don't know about that. You get a house.
Well, you can, but again, the government should not be responsible for building somebody a house. The government can give you a helping hand, but we can't be responsible for building everybody in the county a house.
There are people who call me who don't own anything and say, can I get one? And we had one even call the state to complain, and they know me, so they call me and say, hey, what's going on here? And I'm telling them, listen, he has an RV on his mother's property, and he's wanting to, and
That's not the government's responsibility. If it is, I missed the train somewhere.
so did I.
I've had to work 30-something, 40-something, 50-something years to get me a house built. And I know people need help, I'm not saying that. And some are more fortunate than others, I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying, it's not our role to provide people with housing, or brand new houses. I mean, as I said before, if you can't afford to have your house built, then how are you gonna pay the mortgage? I mean, how are you gonna pay your taxes? How are you gonna maintain it? How are you gonna do all this stuff when you can't even afford to build a house? I mean, that's not what happens in the real world. That's not our role as government.
Well, that's why
We try to give people a hand up, but you got to be working and trying to get a hand up too,
Well, until, the board always chose the infrastructure category for CDBGs up until the point where we just didn't have a project that would be competitive to apply for, and then it was like, well, let's go ahead and apply for housing. But you took care of your infrastructure needs first, or at least the ones.
And we don't
that
do
you
water
really-
and sewers, and that's one of the main things the CDBG is doing, water and sewer, and the county's not involved in that.
Yeah, we did some paving, we did some drainage, and then we did some water sewer extensions in lower income areas.
We didn't do it, the people in, they sent the money from Washington, so they did it.
Well, we did it because who sent that money to Washington?
Mr. Chairman, just to wrap it up, because we need to get on down the line, I guess. Just next time, remind us to do better than what we did this time.
But yeah, we'll work together, I mean, we'll work it out.
Yeah.
Did you need anything else approved here this morning?
That's it, thank you very much.
Thank you, board recess 5 minutes. Board of County Commissioners now back in session. Michael Morone, planning zone report.
All right, Commissioners, here we go. Item number 1, in consideration of a request to construct, more like repair, but Dad talked about this, a single-family private dock on a man-made canal. The walkway will be 68 by 5, 18 by 4 terminus. There'll be 2 finger piers measuring 20 by 4, which will form a U shape, and a 20 by 10 boat lift, which will be placed within the area between the 2 piers. Also proposing a 2.5 dredge depth request and an upland, with an upland spoil site. This project is located at 527 West Sawyer Street, Lot 15, Block 89, Unit 5, on St. George Island. It's contingent upon receiving state and federal permits and meets all local regulations. This request was submitted by Mr. Dan Garlick, Garlick Environmental, on behalf of Bruce Kruger, the applicant, and Planning and Zoning did recommend, favorable recommendation to the board, it was unanimous. And Dan, since Amy or Mark isn't here, you might want to stand up here as I do my little show and tell. This is the lot right here, and this is the lot renovated, correct? And
Dan Garlick for the record, I'm just here to help out Mike.
and that's what renovations, and you have any questions, Commissioners?
Yeah, a bunch of them.
Uh-oh.
I've got a question, Mr. Chairman, if you'll let me go ahead.
Go ahead.
Up on the fall site,
Correct.
where's it gonna be at?
See that area, there's a spoil area location.
Hold on, let me get over here to this one that I've got over here, Dan. Okay, go ahead.
It says spoil area location,
Uh-huh.
that's where it's gonna go. So he's gonna maintain it on his own site. It's set back more than 50 feet.
Okay, and, wait a minute, hold on. Okay, this lot doesn't have a house.
But it can have a house.
It is gonna have a house?
Yes, ma'am.
On top of the spoil site.
Not probably right away, we'll have to dry out before we get to that point.
I'm trying to figure all this out. A walkway be 68 feet long by 5 foot, and all this is on a man-made canal.
It's not a man-made canal, it's actually a natural water body, but it's been dug out over the years here and there, it's been buggered up a bit, but it's actually a natural waterway, it's been there for ever.
Question, was it voted on as a man-made canal? Is that how it's written?
That's how it's written.
I'm not even sure what is it a canal or just a water body?
It said on the presentation, man-made canal.
A lot of people refers as a 12th Street Canal. Okay, that's what people refer to it as, but it's been dredged in the past, but it's still a natural waterway. It's been altered. You can see there's a bunch of docks out there now. There's one on the site here. That dock is dilapidated. The owner wanted to change the look of that dock and just for access and use, and that's why we're going to do the wishbone kind of thing. You get back in that into the canal and you got issues with navigation, so what DP requires is that you basically make that into the canal into a pie shape, so it really gets a piece of the pie, so to speak. And so the idea is that you can't get any further out than what that pie might be. And so what we've done is we've gone in there, we're removing the terminus, we're going to pull it back a bit and put a wishbone type of walkway and then put the lift in the center of it.
But it also calls for two piers.
Well, it's the wishbone is the 2 piers that goes in. Can you see it okay in there? It's within the driveway.
Right here,
That's it.
it's like a tuning fork. Like this, yeah.
Tuning fork, yeah.
If this wasn't there, Commissioner, you'd see that.
Is he talking about dredging the whole man-made canal 2.5 feet deep?
No. Basically, what we're trying to do is dredge enough to get to minus 2.5 feet. That's why you see that little arch-looking thing. That's all we're going to dredge is around there.
So you got one part of it down the middle of the dock being 5 foot, 5 foot across. How deep is that now out there? That's one.
Anywhere from 1.5 to 2 feet. It's not going to be a whole lot of
So
salt.
it's not gonna be that much dredging? About how many tons do you expect to be dredged out of there?
Cubic yard is about 50, 60, somewhere around there for most. It's not very much, but it's one of those things that we got to do if the guy really wants to use it. I've already told him that in the wintertime, forget it, but As long as he's got it for the summer, when you've got your more favorable times, then he's good to go. But,
And it's already got a dock, yeah.
I'm sorry?
It's got an existing dock there
Yes.
now.
Right there, right there.
And the dock's in pretty bad shape. It's been beat up over the years, and simply what we're gonna do is remove that and basically start over again. But the design itself, I felt, was something that should go before PMZ. You know. I mean, I guess it was more than just rehabbing and repairing the dock.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
if I could, and I'll ask a question, sir. And it doesn't matter what amount of dredging you're talking about doing. I mean, even if they dredge around their dock, it's just gonna, it's like pulling sand out of a sandbox. I mean, is that a fair estimation?
It's possible. I mean, you know, you don't know what's gonna happen with a storm.
Right.
When a storm comes in, it might change everything around again. It's going to be an issue of what kind of boat he wants. I've already told him it's gonna have to be a shallow draft boat, and, you know, it could be one of those things that occurs again. That's why we show the spoiler on there. He's got plenty of room to do more spoil in the future if he needs to, but he's also got plenty of room to put a house in there as well.
And let me ask you another thing, is there, since we really can't know how much spoil it's gonna be till it's done, how is that gonna affect the adjacent properties?
It
Or
works
is
at all
it
there.
gonna be built up and everybody else gonna get flooded out, or?
No, it's not gonna be that much. I mean, you're talking about fill that's probably gonna be no more than about 1.5 to 2 feet high, because he can spread it out. It's not gonna be that much spoil. And he does own the house to be south of here as well. Mr. Kruger does.
And I'm sorry, I'm just trying to clarify some things, I'm not against nothing, for nothing. But as of right now, we are the code enforcement for Franklin County.
Understand?
So I have to, you know what I mean, just have to know what I'm doing.
Any other questions? Pleasure of the board. Pleasure of the board.
Let me ask another question if I can, Mr. Chairman. Is the dock that's there not rebuildable? Why are they completely replacing it?
The piles are going, I mean, the Torito worms have eaten the piles up. It's been elevated, been pulled up by a few storms in the past. All the boards are warped. I mean, it just needs to be replaced. And he would like to put a boat lift on there because it's just not a good thing to leave your boat in the water there. And to go all the way over to the closest boat ramp, I can't even think where it is, probably all the way back to the bridge. So he really has no option, but if he wants to keep his water out, or keep his boat out of the water for safety, he needs to have a lift. So that's what requires this whole redesign. By the way, we did get our DEP and Corps of Engineers permits. We have that already.
But since it's already existing right now, I'm making a motion to approve.
We have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Jones, second by Commissioner Lockley. Any further discussion? All those in favor? All opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 2, Commissioners, consideration of a request to construct a single-family private dock and boat ramp. The dock will have a 200 by 4 walkway, 10 by 16 covered terminus. Proposed project is located at 109 South Lakeshore Drive in East Point. This is also contingent on state and federal permits, and it meets the Franklin County regulations. Request submitted by College Environmental for Jessica Lewis Garcia. That property is right here.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Massey, second by Commissioner Lockley. Any further discussion?
That's a question I have.
Mhm.
Just, so I don't know. When we're doing docks before homes, that's to give them an opportunity to do everything they would need to do. I just want to know what's going on. You know what I'm saying?
That question was, before Dan answered, I was going to tell you, P&Z asked that same exact question.
And normally, at least what I understand, the routine for the county is they want to make sure that a lot can sustain or support a house being built. And so this one, Mr. Garcia is actually in the process of, we actually see some of the stuff he's already doing on here, but he wants to get all the stuff along the waterfront completed first, so he's not tripping over other contractors or going around his house, whatever, to do the work out there. And the dock was actually issued last year. He just ran out of time. This guy is very, very particular about what he wants to do here. And he's had 2 or 3 different landscape designers that I've been through already, but basically, that's why we're here again for the dock. He's going to, he had come back for P&Z.
Thank you.
We did have a motion and a second on the floor. Any further discussion? All those in favor? All opposed? Motion carried.
That also was recommended for approval by the P&Z. The third item is consideration of request to construct a single-family residential dock. It will have a 13-by-4 walkway with a 40-by-4 terminus, 2 boat lifts, one being 36-by-12, the other 20-by-12. There's also a request for dredging in a man-made canal, 24-foot water ward of the 90-foot shoreline consisting of 1,801 square feet to either upload spoil site or hauled off. That's located at 719 Randall Street, Lot 6, Block 65, in St. George Island, in the county. They have their state and federal permits. This is also submitted by College Environmental, agent for J.W. Shuttlesworth. That's the applicant. And I will tell you, there were a lot of questions about the amount of how far into the canal that they're going to build, making sure they leave that 50% in between the two, any of the docks that are out there. And then, at P&Z, I couldn't tell which is the drawing that shows this is what 16 feet you're going to fill out there. Which I downloaded all the information you submitted this time rather than what we had. They won't have it on their tablets, so can you tell me which is the drawing that shows exactly? Because that's the one we reviewed at P&Z, but it was so many numbers.
I think it was the cross-section. You don't have the cross-section?
Let's see here. There's one.
There you go.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically what we're showing here is, I think where the confusion was, that we're actually maintenance dredging into the canal to get our depth that we're looking for. Plus, there's all kinds of stumps, an old seawall and stuff like that we're going to get out of there. But the dock itself, as you can see, is actually a lot less than 24 feet. It's actually 13 plus 4 is 17, and probably another 18 feet. But what it comes out to be is we're under the 25%. And that was we don't have a choice. We couldn't get a permit from DEP if we encroach any more than 25%, which I think matches the county's policy or ordinance at this point in time. And we're not going any further out than, I believe, the other docks are on either side, so we're in compliance with that. And the reason that you can see where the old vertical seawall was before, we're actually putting a rock wall in and replacing that just to get more further back away from the center of the canal. So we've got we're at more than a 25-foot setback. We're actually well within it. I think the whole thing was 71, and out of that, I think we're at 18% or something instead of 25%.
Yeah, about 18. What we said at P&Z.
Y'all gonna hold it off, man?
All off the mud. Again, we probably will, but to be on the safe side, we wanted to show that we've got plenty of room where we could put it. That would be, again, within the building area, but this one here, the guy wants to haul it off. So we'll haul it off to a self-contained site that won't even be on site long. And he's about ready to build, so once this is done again, then he's coming in with his plans to start his house.
Pleasure of the board.
Let me ask a question, Mr. Chairman. Okay, come down a little bit on that.
This way?
On that proposed dredged area, 1,801 square feet, which is almost a half an acre. You're gonna have,
Nowhere near it.
huh?
It's less than a tenth of an acre.
Okay. All right. I was just looking at that, because I didn't want it to go in the critical habitat.
We don't need it.
That's the reason why I was concerned when you said. Sometimes both maps don't coincide with these sometimes.